Hi, everyone. Hi. I'm so glad to see you here. Hi, Tiffany, Otter, Dragon. It's so good to see you guys here. You know, I'm still learning how to use this system, so let me know if you hear me. Just put a comment in the box for me. I want to introduce my co-host. I'm so excited to have you here, Nikki. I meant to put you in my slides. I didn't get around to it in time, but what we will do is add you when I edit it later, okay? So this is Nikki, and her channel is called Supernatural Crime with Nikki, and I'll add a link to it once this live is over. I just don't have the access to it right now. And when you go back and rewatch this, you'll have all the information about checking in with her channel, because I love her channel. Dragon says, fasten your seatbelts. Yes.
Yeah, I know Dragon. She's awesome. She cracks me up. She messages me every day. She's been helping me a lot just with the stupid crap that she sends to me.
Oh, that is so sweet.
I love her.
That is so sweet. Dragon, you're awesome. Adriana! Hi, what time is it where you are, Adriana, in California? It's like 6 p.m. there. Hi, Nancy. Good to see you.
It's 9 o'clock, here.
Okay,
where? Crazy.
You're on the East Coast, Nikki?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, and it is morning time here, guys. I'm drinking coffee over here.
I'm drinking water, because if I drink caffeine, I'm going to be up all night.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe like you could have some wine too. All right. Hi, Tiffany. Good to see all of you. I'm so glad that you're here tonight. You know, I'm still learning the system, as I said. I'm so glad that Nikki hopped on out of nowhere. She is the best. Just let me know if there are any problems from your end, Nikki. If you can't hear me or anything goes wrong, let me know, because this is the first time I'm inviting someone. That's how special Nikki is. So I'm really excited. Okay. All right. I have so much to talk about today. Hi, Grace. Hi, Cheryl. I'm so glad to see all of you. I made, you guys, I can't just hop on a live. I have to make this like really intricate slideshow. It's like a freaking PowerPoint, Nikki. But anyway, it keeps us going and keeps us moving. And so first, I just want to show you guys this. I think it's a really funny TikTok about sister wives. All right. Let me know what you think. You guys are going to love it. It's basically the Brady Bunch, but it's with the sister wives, the Browns.
Here's a story of a lovely lady. She's the mom to 5 boys, 7 girls. All of them were born from a douchebag. You know, the one in curls. Here's a story of a man named Davy, who was blessed with 8 kids of his own. They were living in a big house all together, yet they were all alone. Till the one day when the lady met this fella, and they knew that it was much more than a hunch, that this group must somehow form a family. That's the way they became part of Christine's bunch. It's Christine's bunch. It's Christine's bunch. That's how they all became part of Christine's bunch.
And I want to say, look who's here tonight, Nikki. This is Moroni Jessup, the punk rock polygamist. He's all over TikTok. And it's so cool that you're here. Thanks for coming, Moroni. I appreciate that. Hi, Nan.
I get to meet new people.
All right. Okay, I wanted to do a quick update on my life. Sorry, Nikki. This is an aside. You guys, I have been going crazy, like really crazy at home. I have 4 more weeks until we actually just completely leave Kuala Lumpur. And during that time, you guys, you just don't understand how it works when I have to pack out. I have to do an initial pack out where I get everything ready to be packed that's going to go in a first shipment back home. And then I have to do a secondary pack out that's for stuff that I don't need right away. And that could take like up to 6 to 8 months to arrive back in the US.
What?
Yeah, so it's very difficult for me, and nobody understands. And there's a lot of times at night where I'm just like crying because I'm like, nobody gets it. Nobody gets how hard it is to have to spend all this time going through all my stuff, separating it out, trying to figure out like what I can take first, what I can take second, and then also what I need to keep in the house, guys, because I have 2 kids. And as you guys know, one of my children, he has a diagnosis of autism. So I can't just like send everything away because, you know, when they pack us out in 2 weeks, we still have 2 more weeks in the house, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a lot. It's a lot of time to fill with young children. And at night, there are just times that I'm just like, I cannot do this anymore. And it gets really difficult. So that's when I spend some time going down these rabbit holes. So thanks so much for always being here, for making like comments on my videos. It makes me feel really good to know that people are watching, and I really appreciate all of you. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Okay. All right. I don't know how many of you are up to date on the Lori Vallow case. Nikki, you said you know a little bit about it. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
She was found guilty last Friday, so we'll just start off with that. I was following the case, but there was so much going on with it. And there's a YouTube channel called Hidden True Crime. Many of you have watched it, and they did a great job following the Vallow case like all the way through. So she was found guilty.
I got lost too.
I know, because there's a lot that goes on with it. Okay, she was found guilty of murdering her 2 children, 7-year-old JJ and 16-year-old Tylee Ryan. And then she was also found guilty of conspiring to murder Tammy Daybell, who was her 5th
because that was another one.
Yeah. And I did not think she was going to be found guilty because I am like obsessed with the Casey Anthony case.
I know that one very well.
Okay. So I was thinking when it started, I was like, this is going to be another Casey Anthony. Like, she's beautiful. Yeah. She's beautiful. She's manipulative. They have no way to like pin this directly to her. They'll pin it on someone else. So I was really surprised that she was found guilty, you know, and I'm grateful.
Yeah. Cause you really couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Until literally the end. And it's like, finally justice for those poor kids.
Yeah, for the children, for sure. And, you know, her husband, Chad Daybell, also has to go to trial. So it makes me feel good that she was found guilty, because that lends to the idea that Chad will also be found guilty.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And definitely check out Hidden True Crime if you don't know the case that well, because they did an awesome job covering it. Okay, so I'm just going to go through real quick, because a lot of you know the Vallow family really well, but some of you don't. So I'm just doing like a really quick recap. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to hear this, the background.
Cool. Okay, so this is Lori Vallow Daybell's family, all right? They were mainstream Mormon. She grew up in California, and her family was weird. Like, all of the interviews that have been done with people who knew them when she was growing up say that it was like an inappropriate family with inappropriate boundaries. The mother and the father were really weird in front of the kids, okay? They would like make out in front of them, just very inappropriate. And then the kids were inappropriate with one another, all in front of each other. And there was never anyone saying that we don't act this way. Okay. The father also had a weird obsession with the IRS. He believed that like taxing the people was really illegal. So he didn't pay his taxes for a long time. And he actually went to prison for a period of time because of it. Yeah. And he wrote a book about how taxes should be illegal. So he was like very invested in this idea. So they
now this is getting wow already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a background to all of this, right? Let me see. Hi, Martita. I'm so glad you're here. I was able to
look at the kitty.
I know. Martita has the best cat. She rescues them.
I love you for it, that's amazing.
Martita, you work for the airlines. Oh my God. I hate flying because, you know, I fly all the time. Okay, getting back to this. All right, so her mother, who I've like pictured here off to the side with the blonde hair, and this is not the most recent picture, it gets more extreme as time goes on. She was very obsessed with her looks, and she's had like a lot of plastic surgery done. And I think this filters down into what's going on with Lori. Lori's also very concerned with how she looks. She becomes a beautician. She is very manipulative with men. She has like 5 different husbands. So there's a lot going on in her background where she was kind of raised and told, like, the way you look and the kind of mother and wife that you are is the most important thing in your life. Okay. So this is a part of what's going on with her. And then many of you are aware, Lori creates an overly close relationship with her brother. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. All right. So this is Alex Cox, Lori's brother. Okay. So this is Lori's brother and lifelong partner in crime, unfortunately. Alex Cox appears to be obsessed with Lori. It's interesting because he apparently had like a lot of promise in his life, but he never did much. He didn't like finish school or start a like really good career or anything like that. Instead, he wound up doing just like menial jobs, and he ended up kind of following Lori around, right? Not all the time. He wasn't always living near her, but the majority of the time he was. He would move close to her and help her like with her kids and, you know, be very involved in her life. And it is likely, although it hasn't been confirmed, that Alex is really the one responsible for whatever physically happened with the murders. Okay. So even though Lori was found guilty, the way that it works in Idaho is that if she was just like a participant, she's guilty of murder. And that was good for this situation because Alex is dead. He died of a heart attack. So we can't really go back and pin anything on him. But it looks like he might have been the one that was like physically responsible for actually getting rid of the people in Lori's life. So very inappropriate.
That's like three disgusting people then that did that to those children.
Yeah.
Wow.
It gets worse. So, okay. Alex is also very inappropriate with Lori. Okay. He had a wife when he was like 20 years old who comes forward and does this interview with Hidden True Crime. And you guys write in the comments if you know things that I don't know, because I don't know everything about it. There is so much, Nikki. Like, you have no idea what's going on with this family. So Alex has a wife when he's like 20, but the relationship only lasts for like 1 year. The wife comes forward and she gives an interview and she's like, look, I had to leave Alex because his relationship with his sister was so inappropriate. You know what I mean? Like, she said that they would do things that they would indicate that they're joking, right? Yeah. Like they would hump each other and say, wah.
Yeah, like, that's not joking. That's sick.
Right. Okay. And so she said in this interview, she was like, okay, not only was he really inappropriate with his sister, but I just saw the parents being like inappropriate in front of the kids. The whole family was weird. And I said to myself, I cannot have children with this man in this family.
Good for her.
And she left him. Thank God. Right. Because there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God she left and she was gone after a year. And she gives this interview talking about, they were weird together. Okay.
So it started with the parents, right? I wonder.
There's something weird going on in Lori Vallow's past for sure. That's why I was surprised. I was very surprised that they didn't give more of a defense of like she was abused or whatever. And I don't know. I can talk more about that another time, but I do think she's covering up things that have happened to her. That's just my opinion, you know?
Yeah, okay. Possibly.
All right.
All those kids.
I know, Nikki. Yeah. Okay. So this is Lori and Charles Vallow. This is the man she was with, her 4th husband. They were living a very lovely life, Nikki. Like a life that you and I would be happy with, I think. Charles had money. You know, he was taking care of her. Her kids were from prior relationships and he adopted them. Care of them. And then this is their child JJ, who was actually adopted from Charles' family. So he's not biologically related to them. But Charles said, I want to have a child with Lori. And Lori wanted it too. And they adopted JJ. Okay. JJ has autism, so he has like special needs, and everyone says that Lori was very good with JJ. That's what's kind of surprising to me, you know?
Yeah. The fact that they're adopted, though, I mean, if you didn't want them, why the hell did you adopt them?
Exactly. But I just think things changed for Lori, for sure. Like, she was a different person at one point. Things changed for her. Catherine says, like I said, Lori was inappropriate to manipulate Alex to do her sick bidding, carnal knowledge. She knew what she was doing. So a lot of people have said that Lori was very manipulative of men and was manipulating her brother Alex.
Well, didn't he kill her husband as well? One of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is Lori and Charles. I know many of you know all of this, but it's like, you know, I just want to get it out there for those who don't. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so then Lori has this falling out with her husband, Charles, which there's so much to talk about that, but I have to go more quickly. So she has this falling out with Charles. They're in, you know, she's basically saying we're going to have to get a divorce. And then, lo and behold, Charles, her husband, is shot and killed by Lori's brother, Alex Cox. Okay, so there's this altercation. And in the altercation, Lori says that, well, Alex and Lori say that Charles was being inappropriate, like he was aggressive towards them. Mm-hmm. So Alex had to shoot him. There's an investigation. Lori is very charming. You can see all the video. And basically, the police decide, like, okay, I guess this was just a situation where the guy was being aggressive and the brother had to shoot him. So nothing comes of what happened with Charles, but he's gone. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Lori gets left alone with the kids. Can you imagine, Nikki? Because I think that dad, Charles, was doing a lot of the heavy lifting with the kids, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And after a little bit, unfortunately, Lori discovers there's going to be no inheritance from Charles' death. Okay. And the reason why is because Charles knew she was going freaking crazy. And so he took her out of his will and left. He had a lot of money to leave behind, but he left it to his sister or something. So you can imagine that Lori's like, oh, shit. You know, I mean, she thought
with him gone, she doesn't have that fancy lifestyle anymore.
Yeah. She thought she was getting something out of this deal with getting rid of Charles. And it turns out the money was not there. Okay, Tiffany says, hi, Nikki. Some people are saying hi to you. Tiffany here.
Oh, hi, guys.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Here she is. There's Teresa.
Teresa.
That was one of the girls I was telling you about.
Awesome. Okay. And here's Teresa. Perfect.
My BFF.
I'm so glad you guys came. Thank you for coming. All right. So Lori's left all alone with the kids and there's no money left. But don't worry, because there's always Chad Daybell waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
All right. Chad Daybell. Okay. Chad was born into like another mainstream Mormon family. Okay.
Oh,
and
boy.
His family was normal though, Nikki. They weren't weird. Okay. And this is a picture of him when he was young. He went on a Mormon mission. Do you know many Mormon people in your life? No.
I don't know any. I don't know any at all. Okay. I do tend to think that they're out there. Maybe not all, but some of them are.
Let me tell you something, Nikki. So I've been living abroad for my husband's job for like 6-7 years now. And everywhere we go, there's a huge population of Mormons. Isn't that weird? I was telling someone, weird. I was like, when I lived in DC, I wasn't around Mormon people very much. And now abroad, everywhere I go, there's a lot of Mormon people. I live right now in Kuala Lumpur, and there's a Mormon church like 10 steps outside of my building. And sometimes we go over there and there's all these kids that look like this guy, Chad, who are doing their mission and trying to bring all the Asian people into the Mormon church. So it's kind of interesting to see. Okay. So Chad grows up in this like really normal family.
I'm a Mormon here, definitely on the way out. Elsie said that.
Oh, Dragon wants you to know.
Yeah, you are Mormon.
Okay. Right. Okay. So you know her. Okay. And yeah. So anybody else in here who's Mormon? Oh yes. LC says Mormon on the way out. Yes. Okay. All right. So Chad grows up in like, it's a seemingly normal family, Nikki. It's not like Lori's family. Okay. They're a mainstream Mormon. And he goes to Brigham Young University. That's like a very popular and good school for Mormons, right? So he attends Brigham. He goes and does his mission work. He attends Brigham Young University. The only thing that's going on with Chad is that he has a couple of brothers who are like super successful, right? So they also attend Brigham Young University, and they go on to like get masters and doctorates, and Chad doesn't. Okay. So that's really the only thing that's going on with Chad that we know of. And it ends up influencing him greatly. Okay.
I guess so, because he completely changed.
Yes, because Chad developed many insecurities. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And later on, when he goes on to all these podcasts and does all these interviews, like later in his life, okay, he basically on every single podcast, Nikki, he'll be like, well, I didn't get like upper level degrees like my brothers, but it's okay because I ended up being very successful anyway. You know, like just constantly like thou dost protest to.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like.
I think this is an insecurity for him. I know it's like, who cares about that? But this really influences his life because he has like menial jobs. He ends up working on a cemetery. Some of you guys know this. Like he was a grave digger for a while.
Oh, wow.
And he actually writes a book about it and stuff. And he's just like, he hasn't, for a long time in his life, he didn't really do anything that made him feel successful or special.
Yeah.
Okay. And this, I think, motivates him. My opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So he's a lot of insecurities going on. Okay. So, all right. So then, okay. All right. Chad is like not successful, right? He's trying to find his way in life. I do want to say that Tammy, let's go back. Is Tammy on here? No. Tammy, his wife, is working hard at home. Like to me, she's the more stable one, like getting shit done, Nikki. Like they have together. She does like all their finances, and Chad is kind of like a dreamer, not a doer.
Okay.
Yeah. He's quiet. He has big dreams for his life, but I don't see him accomplishing a lot in the first part of his life. Guys, let me know if I'm wrong about that, because like that's what I've read and what I've seen. Okay, so he's kind of like quiet. He's relying on Tammy to get a lot of stuff done. But eventually he enters the publishing world, okay? He and Tammy decide that they want to start publishing books. And they publish books that are primarily written by Mormons, okay? And what ends up happening is that they start down this road of publishing books by people who have had near-death experiences. Okay. Have you ever like read books about that? Or do you know someone who says that they've had? Okay. So these are
I've heard of people writing their own experiences, and I've actually heard stories from people, not a lot. I think 2 people maybe told me that within my life. Yeah.
So, you know, I've definitely heard about it before, especially I've heard about it on Unsolved Mysteries a lot. I used to watch Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes. That one. That's probably one of the people I think is a people when it's the show. That's probably where.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I love Unsolved Mysteries. Anyway, okay, I heard about Unsolved Mysteries, but Chad starts publishing like these real life people, Mormons in his life, who say that they've had a near-death experience, okay? And they're writing books about it. And it turns out there's like a community within this Mormon community that are really into it. And slowly his publishing company starts taking off, okay?
Oh, wow.
Part of the community that is really invested and into this are like the Doomsday Prepper Mormons. And we'll talk more about that later. But they're reading some of his books. He's starting to like make a little bit of money. And, you know, things are starting to take off for him. Okay, then he meets Julie Lowe. Have you ever heard of Julie Lowe?
No.
Okay, everybody in the chat, how many of you have heard of Julie Lowe? Teresa says, I used to watch Unsolved Mysteries too until I
You
didn't
can watch it on YouTube now. It's free.
yeah.
As I
Until
watch
I
it on
didn't get
YouTube
that channel anymore. Yes, my life was like that too, growing up. All right. So, okay, Chad meets Julie Lowe. This is who I really wanted to do this live about, Nikki, because there's all this stuff going on with the Daybells and Vallows, and we've done the case, but not everybody knows about Julie, and this is who
I don't know about her.
This is who I'm really interested in, and so he meets Julie Lowe. Here she is, lovely, lovely Julie Lowe. He publishes her book, and this is like his big success. Okay,
like his big break.
Yeah, Julie Lowe writes a book once again, primarily about a near-death experience. Okay. And I believe it comes out in like 2014. So to me, that's like pretty recent. It was in 2014 that they published it. And they did really, really well. And they make a lot of money. Okay. Some people do know about Julie. Dragons, never heard of her. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Here's Julie Lowe's book. Came out in 2014 and it's called A Greater Tomorrow. Okay. And here's the write-up about it. In 2004, Julie Rowe was just a happy wife and mother, Nikki. But then her health took a turn for the worst. And while she was in a weakened state, her spirit left her body and entered the spirit world. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I'm very into stuff like this, but it goes down a terrible path. Right. But okay. So she says an ancestor named John greeted her and showed her many wonderful places. He also allowed her to read from the Book of Life, which showed her a panorama of the earth's past, present, and future. So she says that she's been given all this information. She gets to see what happened in the past, which she knows very well. And she can give you all the details about that. She sees the future, but can't give you any details about it,
That's weird.
Yeah. Okay. So Julie says that she's shown upcoming world events that are going to be tragic, but also good in some ways too. Don't worry. It's going to be good as well. So she sees earthquakes, tsunamis, famines, plagues, and wars. And she also witnessed, this is her big thing. She witnessed how the Lord is actually watching over his people and he's preparing places of refuge to save basically a certain number of people when the time comes that all hell breaks loose, basically. Basically that the end of the world is coming. She doesn't flat out say it, but the end of the world is coming. Yeah. Some people are going to survive, and those who are going to survive are going to be saved by our Lord to restart the human race over. Okay. And Julie was filled with joy about this. Okay. Prior to her return, she was told that at a future time, she would tell others about her experience. This is kind of a big thing because even though Julie is talking about all of this, she'll be like, but they told me I can't tell you everything yet.
Yeah, that's weird to me.
Yeah. I know the future, but I can't tell you about it. So it's kind of weird. Oh yeah. And then Mary says 100%. This was something that came up. There's 144,000 people who are going to be saved after all of this, earthquakes, tsunamis, everything hits the earth. Okay. All right. Okay. So 2015. So the book was put out in 2014. In 2015, Nikki, it's only 1 year later. It's really crazy that a book would do so well in 1 year.
Yeah.
Time. In 1 year, she's made a ton of money. A bunch of social media groups have popped up around her. Okay. And one big thing that's happening is that people are starting to notice what's going on with the Mormon preppers and Julie Lowe. Okay. So Julie Rowe, I'm sorry. The situation is that there's all these social media groups, and in the social media groups, they're only inviting people who believe Julie Rowe's story, but some of those people are inviting family members in that they're not down with it. Okay. Yeah. It's all these Mormon people joining these social media groups, talking about Julie Rowe, talking about the end of times, talking about preparing for the end of times. Okay. And what ends up happening is that there's this guy who infiltrates all the groups. His name is Jared. And he gets really upset about what he sees going on in the groups because all of these people are like, I'm cashing out my 401k. Julie says we should turn everything into gold. Start hoarding food.
That's insane.
Yeah. Jared is on the video and he just says things got crazy, like batshit crazy in these groups.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen before Obama leaves office. And he is sort of the common denominator in all of this. And there was some, supposedly, I haven't been able to confirm this, and I cannot find the quote right now, but one of the preppers claimed that there was one of the LDS prophets, I want to say Benson, but it might have been another one, that said something to the effect of that when the first non-European looking person is a president, that's going to be the beginning of the end.
George Albert Smith.
George Albert Smith. There you go. And again, I haven't been able to confirm that he actually said that, but that's a pretty widespread quote among the preppers. No citation, of course, and they're using that as sort of an indicator that Obama, but like I said, that Obama ends up being the common denominator in all of this. And whether the prepper believes it's going to happen this September or next spring or next fall, it's going to happen before he leaves office on January 20th. 2017, before he gets, whoever the new president is sworn in, and probably before the election of that president.
So
and he's going to.
So Obama's a bad guy to this group.
Yeah, he's going to, as part of all of this, he's going to suspend the election or suspend the ascension of the new president, and because of all of this chaos that's going to be going on, he's going to use the financial ruin, the earthquakes, the destruction as an excuse to declare martial law, cancel the election, and he's basically going to be the president indefinitely.
Kind of like Putin.
Yeah.
And I've even heard rumors about like Chinese and Russian troops already on U.S. soil. Is that right?
Yeah, there's been some posts on that, but everything I've seen usually leads back to one of these spoof.
People were like, people's children, people were saying like, my child is having nightmares every night because I told her that like we're all going to die soon. I mean, it was just like,
well, I would too.
Yeah. It was awful. And because Julie's whole thing is like, it's not going to be fast. Like Julie talks about, this is going to be hard, guys. Like hard times are coming. I see babies drowning in water. Like it was just really extreme.
Yeah,
the way she would talk about like what was going to happen. She never gave a date. But she's like, it's coming in the next couple of years. And she started going around to these different conferences. One of the conferences was called Preparing a People. And it's all about Mormon prepping, keeping like a bunch of food, like food storage, buying guns, buying weapons, buying all kinds of stuff. And then finding like a place away from everyone, like out in the woods to live, to keep all your stuff. Okay.
That's crazy.
Right. And that once everybody kind of gets knocked out in the initial phases of the end of the world, they'll all come back together in places like Rexburg, Idaho, which is where Chad and Lori Daybell end up living. Oh, they'll all come back together there. They'll congregate and make a new order. Okay. Right. So Julie's like, she's really going off the deep end, but even more so the people around her are like, they're making it even worse. Everybody's just like buying into what she says, hyping it up. Like I said, cashing out their 401ks. And it's not a good situation. And this guy, Jared, starts like,
it's like hysteria, what she's done, it sounds like.
Exactly. I can't wait for you to see some of the videos of her. So Jared starts screenshotting, like these people are going crazy in these Mormon prepping groups. And he starts sharing it with the regular Mormon community. Okay. And this is how people come to know about what's going on with Julie Rowe, because there's only like a small facet of the community that loves her. And now the mainstream Mormons are like, wait a minute, something is really wrong here. Okay. So people are starting to see there's a problem. And that's when Mormon Podcast Stories does a whole like show about Julie Rowe in 2015, long before anything happens with these kids being murdered. Okay. So already in 2015, we've got people that are like, Julie Rowe is dangerous. What's going on with Mormon preppers is dangerous. And I think it's crazy that this was all put on this. It's on a YouTube channel, on a podcast And
Wow.
then 5 years later, Lori and Chad murdered Lori's kids. So it's just really crazy that people were aware.
That is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Chad is like, oh my God, there's so much money. I love this money. And
Yeah,
so
exactly. I gotta make up my own shit for money.
oh my God, Nikki, I would write about a near-death experience. I'd make up a near-death experience to get Okay, so he writes his own book about a near-death experience, despite the fact that now he never said he had a near-death experience before, but now he's had one when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, so he starts touring and speaking about it at doomsday prepping conferences, and he's finally special, Nikki. He's finally special.
I was just gonna say, now he's
Yeah.
got what he wants.
Exactly. So he's like hanging out with Julie Rowe. They go to all these prepping conferences. They're doing all this social media stuff. He's getting to be a speaker, and he's not like, I've watched his speeches. To me, he's not charming. But he's surrounding himself with these people who kind of are lifting him up too. So he's really into it. And Tammy's staying home. She's just running the publishing end, taking care of their kids, doing the finances, and he is bringing in money for them, but he's off doing all of this. And allegedly, he may have had a relationship with Julie Rowe, okay? That's like a big thing, is that people say that before Chad ever got involved with Lori, he was messing around with these other doomsday prepping women, okay? And then he finally meets Lori, who just comes along and it's a whole other thing, but I'm not getting into it. She joins the doomsday prepping conferences. They meet and they end up forming this relationship. Once they form the relationship, Julie Rowe is still involved. She's sending like voicemails, text messages. We have all of that. So she's still involved. She wants to say like she didn't have anything to do with any of this, but she's still involved in their relationship. Okay. In 2020, the COVID crisis hits. Nikki, what happened for you during COVID? Did you just like stay home, or what was your deal?
I had no choice. Everything was on lockdown for years, and it got to the point where we weren't even getting transports or anything to come in to give us food. We ran out of food and toilet paper. It was horrible.
Wow.
Actually, yeah, it was horrible because the people who were driving these transports, they ended up taking a stand and said they weren't moving until you lift this effing ban, because they had us on lockdown for years.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. We couldn't leave our house. We couldn't even go outside.
How long were schools closed? Do you know? Like, was it just a few months? Every place was different.
No, it was a year, almost 2 years.
Because it was the same for me. I was living in Mexico. That's when I first got like really interested in looking at like Mormon sects, because there was actually a sect down there in Mexico. And they shut down entirely. Like you weren't allowed to go outside at all.
No, we couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. Like even to go check my mail, I have to go out of my house and go like a mile down the road to go get my mail. I have to get my mail. If you were caught walking outside, a cop will pull you over and ask you, what the hell are you doing outside? You're not supposed to be outside. Like it was really messed up. I'm like, I have to check my mail. I've waited for 2 weeks. I have to go. So arrest me then, because I'm going. Or you know what? Drive me home. Like do something. I have to get my mail.
Yeah, because it's interesting to hear that, because I have some family. It's my husband's family. They're all in Florida. And when I would talk to them about COVID, they were like, we really didn't see that much of a change in our lives during COVID. Yeah. But that's because Florida just stayed like open the entire, maybe like for the first couple of months it was closed down. But everything, it's just very funny how it depends on where you lived, what kind of
in Canada, it was horrible. Like I remember going into stores, you're only allowed in there for essential things. They actually blocked off clothing and toasters and appliances and everything. So if my fridge broke, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
I needed a toaster and I needed a coffee maker. Yeah, I needed a toaster and a new coffee maker, and I couldn't even buy it. I was so angry. I'm like, I need one. I don't have one. Can I buy this? No, it's not essential.
Was it like because in Mexico what they did is they put like caution tape around like, the clothing area. It's like you can't walk in you can only get bread and
like that saran wrap looking stuff, wrapped it all the way around with caution tape. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I need a damn coffee maker. Wow.
Okay, coffee is essential, like 100% essential.
It was awful.
Yeah, it was hard times. Okay. Okay. And then Dragon says we had to wear masks. Hi, Kat.
Yeah, we had to wear masks wherever we went, even if we were outside. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Kat, are you in Florida? Because, okay, so I was just saying my family in Florida was like, we didn't even see that many changes. So that was just like crazy to me because my whole life changed. It was the hardest time of my life with my kids.
Yeah, it was. It made me really depressed. Like, it was just.
Me too. And I'm still dealing with
You need vitamin D. You have to go outside. I mean, come on.
I'm still dealing with the ramifications of it. So,
okay.
So, 2020, the COVID crisis hits. Okay. So in 2015, guys, Julie is like, oh, the end of times are coming, and she's making a big deal about it, and nothing happens. But then in 2020, because a big part of Julie's whole thing is like that China is going to be very involved in trying to take down the United States, and we won't be able to trust our government anymore in the United States, and this is going to be a whole thing. Well, then COVID hits, and it comes from China. Okay. So in 2020, it's like all of a sudden, Lori's like making these social media like videos where she's basically like, look, I told you this was coming. You know, COVID's just starting. Okay. So Julie Rowe in 2020, this is a video of her. She's in her car. She always makes her videos in her car. Like, I do that. Like, I don't have a problem with it, but just for someone who's made like so much money and is like leading all these people, she's like using her iPhone in her car to make a video telling everyone like the end of the world is coming.
That is weird.
It's just, you know, I just expected a little more. I don't know.
Hi, welcome to the Julie Rowe Show. Today is Wednesday, March 18th, 2020. Been an eventful day so far, right, Eric?
It's been an eventful day. There's so much energy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, once again, I had trouble sleeping last night. You can imagine why.
Right. You and a couple others of our close friends have closely linked you with earthquakes and your physical health and your sleeping patterns, interestingly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's been interesting. So I woke up to the news. I was actually kind of awake in and out. Interestingly enough, the last thing I remember before I fell asleep last night was talking to the Lord about where we are in the plan again, and going over some things with him and testing to see how clear I was on the visions I'm having related to the Wasatch earthquake, other earthquakes, precursor earthquakes to the Wasatch earthquake, the big earthquake, and of course coronavirus and everything. And you and I recorded on yesterday, for Eyes Open, the coronavirus. If you haven't seen that, we did that last week, and then we did the energy session yesterday and released that this morning. I think you sent it out an hour before the earthquake or something.
Yeah, right about the same time. Yeah, interesting.
Yes, I love the orchestration. I woke up on Saturday morning with the direction from the Lord to record an energy session with Eric, and was told to have it be released on Wednesday the 18th. And Eric, being great like he always is, agreed to do that. And so it's been an eventful couple of days. I love the orchestration, Eric, because, you know, there's been a lot of quiet time in the last 6 years as far as public things that people have seen. But in my personal life, I constantly have dreams and visions and revelation that come true. Mm-hmm. And often I just don't share it with people. I've told you quite a bit of mine, but you know, people generally don't understand that this is always unfolding for me. This is part of my normal. So to have it go so public like this and have the validation that we've been looking for, you know, my heart goes out to anybody suffering from any disease, especially coronavirus, but also this earthquake now that's happened. I want to make that very clear that I do not rejoice in the suffering of other people. In fact, when I really let myself think about it, I have shed thousands and thousands of tears over both.
You know, I've told people this before, but I've heard you recount visionary experiences, and one particular scene you've described to me, which I've never heard you describe to anyone else, and especially publicly, which is so sobering. And when you describe the suffering of people and the cries of children, you know, you remember telling me this one?
Yeah.
And
do you want to share it? I think we can share a little bit of it. You tell them. I can't, or I will sob my eyes out, and I won't get through the rest of this podcast.
Well, you would do a better job. I'm a lousy storyteller, but I just remember one day you were telling me what you saw, and I think we were interviewing for your biography. And I was like, well, tell me some scenes of what you've seen. And you described this would be not the Wasatch Wake Up, but the big one that happens, I think, a year or so after the Wasatch Wake Up, where it's centered somewhere in the University of Utah area, or at least downtown Salt Lake. And you and others have described this enormous amount of water that comes up from the ground and comes down from the mountains and other places that just comes up, and everybody's surprised by the amount of water. I guess I wanted to bring this up because I know that you don't enjoy the suffering, and I've seen your reaction and the soberness and emotion, and but it's the reality, it's the plan.
And she's like, what did I say? So people now are like, oh, F-U-C-K. Okay. They're like, they are like, she was right. Like Julie was right.
And then it becomes major hysteria because she was right. Now we have to follow and listen to what she says.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now people are like, even people that didn't believe are like, oh crap. Okay.
Yeah. Now they're like, oh, maybe.
Totally. And I probably would have been too if I had been listening to her, because I'm like super suggestive like that. But anyway, okay. So, and then at this time, what's going on with Chad and Lori, which isn't as important to me because we all know that their spouses die, right? They're essentially killed,
Yep.
Tammy Daybell dies. At first it's like, oh, it was natural, but now they say that she was murdered. Okay. And then Tylee and JJ disappear. Okay. And Lori and Chad get married on a beach in Hawaii. Here they are looking like so happy.
I remember that photo and I remember that time. And because their kids were missing, I'm just like, what the hell is this? Yeah.
Okay. This is okay. Oh gosh, you guys, my friends, my lovely friends. I'm so sad I can't show you this video because this is a video of one of Julie's conferences, and Nikki, she's literally like, this is how I wanted to show you how she starts all of her conferences. She has a ribbon and she's ribbon dancing. Like,
what the hell?
This woman. Yeah,
right there, I would have been like, nope. Walked right out.
Nikki,
this girl's crazy.
I know. This specific video is in 2020 after COVID hits, and she's telling us like we're all gonna die. And literally, she's like, there's fire and brimstone. And in one of the videos, she's like crying. She's like, it's going to be hard to watch all your friends and family die. But, and then she's like, ribbon dancing.
It's funny how she has empathy for other people who are going to lose their family, yet she had no problem having hers murdered.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to comprehend that.
Yeah.
That I don't understand.
It's more complicated than all of that. I mean, she's ribbon dancing because she thinks that brings about good spirits, but from the just the outside view of watching it, you're like, what the hell is going on here? So she ribbon dances. Yeah. And then she loves to be like, that's a big thing with her, is like, she's had so many lives before this because she believes that she's been like reincarnated. She doesn't call it.
Of course she does. She probably thought she was God.
Exactly. Because she's always been like someone very important, and that's a big thing for her. Okay. All right. This is the last one I was going to show you of Julie, I think. Okay, this is when Julie goes off the deep end. And Chad and Lori get arrested because they can't find their kids. They go to Hawaii and arrest them. And Julie makes a video and she's like, I believe Chad Daybell is a warrior for the light. And I think he's being, treated unfairly. And I see these kids alive and well dancing on a beach in Hawaii.
Welcome to Eyes Open. Today is December 26, 2019. I'm Eric Smith, and I'm interviewing Julie Rowe, a visionary woman.
For those that don't know, Chad Daybell has been my publisher, 4 books. I've written several other books and self-published with Eric, but Chad is and has been a close friend. He first contacted me online on a prepper website called Vallow, Another Voice of Warning, in February. I think it was February of 2014. I had only seen him in vision and he had seen me in vision. We didn't meet in person until July of 2014 when I met he and his wife Tammy and their children. I knew him very well. In fact, we talked on the phone every day while we were writing that book. I wrote it and he would edit it, and we would work together on it because he had seen similar things related to the future. And we talked about foreign troops invading and all, because he's visionary also, and he had been given some insight from the light side on the other side of the veil that his wife was going to pass.
Do you think it's possible that Chad and his new wife Lori are innocent of any foul play? That all these accusations.
Not only is it possible, I know he is.
Okay.
I know Chad Daybell's heart. I know him. His heart was broken. He couldn't believe that it had happened like that. He and I talked over 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago. We had both seen her in a car accident. We thought maybe she was going to go a year ago in a car accident because it seemed so constant that we both kept seeing this vision that Chad Daybell is being falsely accused of a suspicious death of his wife. I see them. The 7-year-old is laughing. He's having a good time. The 17-year-old is watching over him wherever they are. She's been babysitting him. They're in a safe place. Right now, Chad Daybell needs friends, and he may not want a friend like me, but I want him to hear me if he listens to this. I am a true friend, no matter what has or hasn't happened, and I believe that he has a good heart.
She's like, because my premonition, like all these things, Nikki, so she says that, she sees them and they're fine. And within I think it's about 8 months later that they find the bodies of Tylee and JJ on Chad's farm. So, and people continued to follow her. And the next
I would have been like, hell no, lock this lady up. She's loony. I mean, no.
People are still following her to this day. And so that's why.
God, you people following her are fucking nuts. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I know. And that's why I think it's important to talk about her, because I have no idea that any of this is going on, right? I want to say in every religion, there's situations like this. I'm not picking on Mormonism. I am spiritual. I'm religious. I'm not picking on any specific religion. It's just very interesting when you find out these crazy things are going on and the religion is being used in a negative way, right?
Yes, okay. I hate that. That's what I hate about it. And that's why I'm not religious. I'm more into crystals.
Yeah. Okay. So, but you see, Julie's she's interesting because she's kind of pulling in both sides. Like, she's into alternative medicine, but she's still in the Mormon church. She's just interesting in her belief system, but it's also causing a lot of problems for people around her. Okay, so she says that JJ and Tylee are still alive. Tiffany says that sounds like a mental health emergency.
It does.
100%. Yeah. Oh, and then okay. Mary, yes, I'm not talking all about everything. There's so much more to say about Chad and Lori, but Mary points out that Chad had decided that people around them were turning into zombies. And he told everyone that Lori's kids were turning into zombies. And that's part of the reason why they had to get rid of them. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say.
I know. Yeah. So that's a whole other thing. And there's so many, you have to go down the rabbit hole because there's so many videos of Julie Rowe talking about things like zombies. And I'm just trying to put out there that there's this whole group, a community of people who were believing what Chad and Lori were doing and what they were saying. And, Chad and Lori are being held responsible for what happened to their children. But there are other people out there who still kind of believe along these lines. And I just want to highlight how dangerous it could be.
Very dangerous. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't even fault, I think Julie Rowe has a lot of mental health issues. So I'm not saying it's all on her, but then it's other people with mental health issues end up following her. And it becomes a shit show. It's like a huge dumpster fire. It really
does.
Yeah. Okay. I'm almost done. Thank you for hanging in there, Nikki. You're the best.
Yeah. No. I'm liking this. I'd rather hear it from you than go down the rabbit hole. I'm glad you did.
Thank you. Okay. And I will put this up with the videos because the videos are the best.
Yeah, I gotta check them out when you're done. I will.
Yeah. Okay. Elsie says Julie Rowe was excommunicated from the Mormon church. That's true. That definitely happened later.
Wow.
Or I don't know what year it was. It might have been 2018 or something. She does get excommunicated at some point. Okay. But the rest of her life and when she started all of this, she was in the mainstream Mormon church. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Cody Brown. Okay. You know a little bit about the Browns, but you're not obsessed like I am. So that's fine.
Yeah.
I guess you can still be my friend. Okay. So Cody Brown, I love watching Sister Wives because I think I kind of, maybe it was in college or whatever. I really, when I was struggling or having hard times, I was really down with watching TLC. I loved TLC.
Yeah.
I don't
So did
know.
I, actually.
Okay, so you're up in Canada. Did you guys get, like, they used to have, like, The Baby Story. That was, like, one of their shows, and you would watch, like, people.
I think I vaguely remember that.
Okay. And then it would be, like, they had a home decorating show. I just remember watching it, and it would, like, soothe me. I had a lot going on. I was, I have Crohn's disease, so I was, like, in the hospital a lot and stuff. Anyway, the point being that, like, I just liked watching these, like, you know, kind of boring, nerdy shows that just made me feel like the world is nice, you know? Okay. So I did watch the Duggars, and then eventually I watched like the first few seasons of Sister Wives, and I was pretty into it. Okay. So Cody Brown, he is really interesting to me because, as you probably know, the big issue with him the past season was that he was like going crazy about COVID. Right?
Yeah.
He was isolating with one family, his wife Robin, and he was making a huge deal about not seeing the other families. Okay.
Yeah, that didn't make sense to me.
Right. Okay, so I've been kind of going down a rabbit hole with this. At first I'm just like, he's such a jerk. Like he just didn't want to be with the other women. Okay. But then after a while, like I started looking into the things that he's been doing as a career. And I didn't realize, get this, that Cody actually used to be in an MLM. How many of you know that? Like, I know, you probably know that some of the wives do MLMs. They sell like clothing or pink drinks. Okay. MLMs are really big in the Mormon community because then the person can stay home and work from home or whatever. So Cody actually did an MLM and he was super successful in it, guys. In Vegas, he was selling for a company that they did like, I don't know if it was like building muscles, health and wellness, drinks, this kind of stuff. The car that he drove in the when they were filming in Vegas, he got from the MLM. So he was high ranking in the MLM. Yeah. And I had no idea about this because I didn't know. You guys let me know. Those of you who follow Sister Wives, I didn't know that he did this MLM. He was actually the first one of them to be very successful in an MLM. Okay. So since they moved to Arizona, okay, chat that Cody has gotten into selling firearms, okay, and firearm parts, okay, like not just like guns. It could be like if you want to add things to your gun, like a scope or something like that, okay? And so I was looking into this and I found out that the company that he does it for is also kind of an MLM. So this is like really interesting to me. It's sort of an MLM. It's like there's a central company where they have all of these parts and things, and then Cody will buy them, take them to the shows and sell them, and he gets a portion of the money, okay? Now, I spoke to someone whose husband does it, and she said, Nikki, they make good money. Okay.
Oh, wow. Right.
So I was kind of surprised. And if you see here, this is Cody. And the guy next to him, his name is Brian. Tiffany says, is that how he got in shape? Well, yeah. He never talks about his side hustles on the show. Yep, he doesn't. Okay. So so this guy next to him is Brian. That's his best friend. And they actually they do the same thing. They sell the firearms together. Okay. So I was talking to someone whose husband also goes to the same shows because it's all these people selling. They're basically selling end times prepping stuff. Okay. They sell like camouflage. It could also be for hunting. It can be like hunting or just if you want to live in the wilderness. You know, there are some people that they don't believe in like the end times, but they like want to live alone, like out in the wilderness. Right. So it's like wilderness survival type stuff. And they're all at these big conferences and these big auditoriums selling their stuff. Okay. So the woman that I talked to said that they've said that he has started a new business in June of 2022 with Brian. Okay. And they they no longer just sell guns. They also sell survival gear, like I talked about. They sell
Yeah.
artillery, adaptive weapons, food supplies for survivalists. Okay. All right. And here is, okay, so Kody has said, like, I do go to sportsman shows. He'll never say, like, it's a firearm show. I'm sure he doesn't want, like, people to be upset for the sake of the show, which I understand. Okay, so this is him, like, selling at one of the shows. And then this is the website, Nikki. This is what they're selling on their
website too? Oh, wow.
Look. So they're selling this survivalist stuff. Okay.
Jeez.
Kody and Brian share a long business relationship, including a partnership. This was from I can't remember the source, but it's in a newspaper, basically, including a partnership in an LLC called U.S. Tactical. Okay. This was formed in Utah in April of 2022. Kody, Brian, and another friend who resides in Utah are the listed members of the business. And the company is categorized as sporting goods, hobby, and musical instruments. But this is what they're selling. Okay.
Musical instruments.
I think it's just the category.
Yeah, I guess hobby and sporting goods and musical instruments stores.
Nikki, when you're surviving, you definitely need like a trumpet, you know,
right? Or that banjo for sure.
MLMs is about how many people under you, not the product, it seems. That's so true, Kat, which is why I'm not sure if Kody and Brian also recruit people to sell. I don't know everything. I couldn't get that much information about the business. So,
he doesn't look rough at all.
Yeah. So, and I don't want to go too far with it. Okay. All right. So Brian's role in all of this. Okay. Brian is his friend. He appears on the show. Brian is the guy, you guys, Brian is the guy that Kody went to the wedding and officiated for. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So the Ashley revealed, okay. The Ashley revealed that Brian has like a tainted past. And I want to say, like, I don't care about this. I'm just making you aware that he's already been involved with like different things with gun issues. Okay. So he was federally charged with aiding and abetting in connection with a group of people involved in illegally selling firearms at gun shows. Before he got into this business with Kody, he was doing it in a way that
he was already crap.
Yeah, it wasn't done properly. And Brian ended up testifying against the ringleader of the group. So then he didn't have to go to prison. He only served 2 years of probation. Okay. But the people who worked with him went to prison. So there's some stuff going on.
You might want to watch his back.
Yeah. There's a lot.
That's what I'm thinking.
This is Brian, just for people, you guys. And this is the wedding that Kody went to where he.
Yeah, I remember that, him dancing. Oh my God.
That's my favorite when he was dancing. Okay. So, okay, what do I want? There's so much I could say. So I ended up finding out a lot about Brian and his wife, and I'm not going to say very much about it. But I just want to say that from my point of view, it looks like there's a lot of connections going on here to Doomsday Mormon prepping. Okay. And let me see if I have the next picture. Okay. So this is where I found a lot of pictures and videos about Brian and his wife. I'm not going to show them here. I'm only showing you these because this is their compound that they live on. And they actually like buy deer and raise them. And they're planning their own food. I don't have any problem with this. I'm just letting you know that there's these connections going on.
Yeah.
They have his wife will be like decked out in the tactical gear. She is a really good shot. Like she shoots guns and stuff like that. And they're ready for anything. His wife is
I would never go on that property.
His wife is not to be messed with. And they're living the kind of life that I would associate with Mormon, the doomsday prepping stuff that I was just talking about. Me, from what I saw, that's what I would think is going on. And so with all of this, I was kind of like thinking to myself, Nikki, and I'm still going down this rabbit hole. It kind of brings a whole new layer to what I think about what happened with Kody. The fact that he wasn't willing to go out and we were all like, oh my God, what's wrong with him? I think it's highly possible he was like, guys, the end of the world is coming. Everybody get into your mansion, shut the doors and don't leave. They have huge food storage in their homes, all of them on the sister wives. And I really think that he was also in a situation where he was like, we're prepared. We're going to shut ourselves in.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think that's a part of what happened with them. They don't talk about it on the show. Like on the show, it's just like, oh, we're just concerned about COVID. But I think that they were afraid that something big was coming, right? So it kind of makes a little bit more sense to me, because Robin and Kody are more like, they're more still into the religion, Nikki, whereas the other women are sort of like doing their own thing. So
I know that. Yeah, I knew that much. It's more like Kody and Robin now, and the other three are just like off doing their own thing. Yeah.
So it kind of made. I'm still going down this rabbit hole because I want to learn more, but I think there's a lot going on with Kody in that way. I want to know what they think now. That's what I'm really interested in. I would love to hear, like, now that we've gotten through COVID. You know, we lost people that we love, but it wasn't the end of the world. What do people think now?
That's a good question. Yeah.
I know, Kat, can you believe the white deer? That's literally.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That's rare.
That's not a picture I found. That's a picture of their white deer that they're breeding. Like, and they have other animals like that there. So, it's like they're preparing. They're Noah's Ark, maybe. That's what I thought when I saw.
So are they eating the deer? Do you think, or do you know?
I have no idea. I have no idea because I wasn't like gonna like go that far into it. But they don't say. You know, they just show this. Here's our new. The comment was, here's our new babies, and there were several like different types of animals that I thought were almost like a little exotic. It wasn't like a tiger or anything like that. You know, it was just stuff that I was like, so a part of me wasn't sure. It could be for hunting. It could be just like an animal that they're taking care of. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
But I could see they have one thing I could say. This is just my opinion. They have a lot of money because their home was gorgeous, beautiful, like compounds, beautiful stuff. Just so making money off of selling those, artillery. So I'm like, why don't I get in? Nikki, you and I should go into.
We should get into that business. We'll be rich.
Women's camouflage. Like we can really like target women. I think maybe. I don't know. Okay. Supernatural Crime with Nikki. Let's make a song about your channel. Everybody should check out Supernatural Crime with Nikki. She's awesome.
I really do have true crime on there. I read a lot of books. A lot of it's true crime. I'm actually reading, I can't remember the name, but it's about Jeff Warren's daughter. She ended up writing a book about how she got away from her dad and growing up. Yeah, and it's horrible.
I thought you made a post about it or something. You should do a video about that soon. That would be great.
Yeah.
I
need to. I don't know. What's tomorrow? Thursday. I should really get back to going live because I feel bad. I just haven't. I've been, what I told you. Just But that book I do plan on reading right to the end.
You can even just do like I've seen people do where they just talk about a couple of chapters. And then they'll say, like, I'll do the next chapters. People really like that.
That's what we do. We'll read a chapter and then we discuss it and we all put our thoughts and points in. That's what we do.
If you let me know, like, when it is, I'll be there to hang out. Okay? That would be really cool.
Yeah, because you seem to know a lot about this. You'd be able to, it's like all the FLDS and all that stuff.
I know. That's really interesting, right?
Yeah.
I like reading
I probably will have questions.
Yeah.
It makes me sick, though, just hearing the stuff that... Wow.
Yeah, the FLDS is a whole other can of worms, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I kind of get upset when I feel like people equate the sister wives stuff to the FLDS because I do think.
Yes, so do I. I get so mad. I'm like, it's not like that. Shut up. Yeah. Stop it.
That's how I feel. I mean, I know that there are problems, but I just want to say that I grew up, and maybe Nikki, maybe you did too. And a lot of you have. I grew up in difficult circumstances, okay? And it had nothing to do with religion. So there's just like a part of me sometimes that feels like when I watch someone saying like, oh, because of religion, this child was physically abused, or because of religion, this, I think to myself, there's a lot of people who are physically abused, who have horrible things happen, and religion is not even a part of their lives, right? Yeah. So I just always, that's something that kind of sticks with me. Not saying it's not important, but that's why I look into this stuff, but I also feel like it's not all about the doctrine or whatever. So Okay, ongoing investigation. I just wanted to say that JJ and Tylee's bodies were found on Chad Daybell's farm. All of you know that. Okay, but Julie Rowe got a lot of slack for it. Okay, she was super manipulative in her answers about what was going on with her and Chad Daybell. And she made up a news story about why she didn't know that Tylee and JJ were dead. She basically was like, when I saw them on the beach in Hawaii playing in my dreams, it was in the afterlife. I thought it was like for real, but it was in the afterlife. So I always knew they were dead, actually. Don't worry. I still have premonitions. Okay, but then by 2022, things were going really poorly for Julie.
So, I never really know right until I start talking what I'm going to talk about. But I got a text message about 10:30 this morning from one of my contacts that Sean Little Bear did a 3-hour interview with somebody named Lauren Matthias, podcast Hidden True Crime. She left the church years ago and is married to a psychiatrist who podcasts with her. But I'm just going to put this out here. I would never have done this except that Sean just spent several minutes talking trash on me on this podcast. Now, first of all, I find it interesting that very few people have interviewed me these true crimes. I've only interviewed with 2 podcasts when the story first broke. Sean Little Bear said to my friend a while ago, I couldn't even tell you when it was. A couple of years ago, a year ago, no idea. I don't pay attention. But apparently Sean Little Bear just brought this up in the podcast. Quote, he also says a woman told him you wanted to have a child by Sean. I am not going to waste my time on debunking every lie that's out there. But I will do this one because I know this is going to explode due to what's going on with the Chad Daybell story. Now, Chad spoke at the Preparing a People conferences. I spoke at one for a half an hour. Sean spoke that afternoon. And I can tell you this much, Sean, you were so boring. I didn't even stick around to hear you. Okay? I don't even know your story. I had no idea that Chad or whoever the hell got a hold of Sean said anything about him being Samuel the Lamanite. But I can tell you that's bullshit. I am to the point where I don't give an F. Okay, I would love to say the real word for all you judgy Mormons and Christians out there, but I don't care. Not for my own sake. My reputation, what little I have left, has been trashed for over 7 years. But don't come on social media and make shit up about me so that you have more people that you're deceiving. I know this to be true because the Lord himself told me this, showed me this, and I do have gifts, and I could see remotely, because I can do remote viewing, that Chad was talking shit on me, Sean Little Bear was talking shit on me, Mike and Nancy James talked shit on me. I did not know what Chad Daybell was up to. I knew he was making lists, that he believed in multiple probations. So do I. I don't believe in his stupid ass chart that he did and all of his. There's also some bitches from Arizona. Well, there's all kinds of bitches out there that are very jealous of me, including Nancy James and Sean Little Bear's wives. I have gifts, you guys. I saw it miles and miles and miles ago, right along with Melanie Gibb and Lori. I was told by Spirit Realm that the kids were safe, and I saw them in a beach house and on the beach. My gifts had not advanced to the point at that point that I could tell that that was in Spirit Realm. Sometimes the dimensions look so real to me, they look like they're in real time in a physical setting, because that is how real my gifts are. That I was in cahoots with Chad Daybell, or that I was holding out, or that I knew something. This is bullshit. How's that feel? So for all the judgy Mormons out there, or anybody else that decides to judge me on this planet, good riddance. When you get the plague, when the Russians come in, when there are earthquakes in your backyard, when your house falls off of East Mountain, when you are flooded in Saratoga Springs, when the Russians raid your house in Tucson, Arizona, Oro Valley to be specific, good riddance. You will deserve what you have earned. Karma is a bitch and it's real. And the shitheads at LDS services in Salt Lake are not prophets, seers, and revelators. They're con artists. Watch their body language. The entire planet has and is being brainwashed by Luciferian agendas. I expect empathy and kindness to me and everybody else on this planet. And if we can't have that, then let this world burn. In fact, I dare you to judge me, because with what judgment you judge me, so shall you be judged. That goes for my parents, my siblings, my extended family, Jeff's family, Jeff, or anybody associated to him.
She lost her shit. This is her last video, and she's basically like, you can all burn when the time comes. Actually, the name of this video is I'm Pissed Off. And
I can see that.
Things had changed for Julie Rowe. I'm still going down this rabbit hole because I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
And there's a lot
I think you should stick to it and find more stuff out. I think you should.
There's a lot more, Nikki. And I hope that you'll watch the videos too.
I will. You've got my interest peaked, so I'll keep watching.
All right. And so everybody says we love you, Nikki. Lots of people say that.
Oh, Catherine, love you too, girl.
Teresa, I don't know what you're saying about Dollyhood, but I don't know if you know that I'm obsessed with Dollywood. I don't know if you know that about me.
As soon as I saw that name, I'm like, what the hell, Dollywood? I've heard of that place. Oh, yeah. Dollyhood. Oops, my bad.
Oh, Dollyhood is someone that's in here. I couldn't follow the chat. Hi, Dollyhood. I love Dollywood. I love Dolly Parton. Yeah. I'm actually going to do a video about her. And please continue with this topic. Great. Nikki, I hope you'll join me again. I really enjoyed chatting. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Get out of my funk.
Yeah.
So thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you came.
It helped.
We can do other lives if you want about different things. You tell me. Sure. I can come on your show or something. Just for fun, you know?
Yeah.
And you guys,
I'd like that.
That would be great. I'm so glad that all of you came, and I will put this up eventually edited with the videos. I love all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Nikki. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I had fun.
Okay, great. All right, I'm going to try to end the broadcast. Nikki, I'm not sure what it'll do to you, but thank you all.
Yeah, I'll just, it says leave studio. I'll just hit that.
Okay, great.
Oh, so they want to know how to find me.
Yes. Please remember, Nikki, let me see if I can. Let me find. I'm going to try to do
the link. If you want to put the link, it's in my about section on my channel.
I'm trying just now. I'm really bad, but I'm trying. But I'm going to take a minute to do it, if you don't mind. Nikki, you're great. Thanks for showing up. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks, all of you. Thank you, Teresa, for coming too for Nikki. I appreciate that. I love you guys, and I will see you later. Thank you, Nikki.
Yeah, no problem. Bye.
Bye, everyone.